The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucky, joined by my opponent, the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Last week, in case you're just joining us, we came at you with some thoughts on the Marvel Heroes video game, and that it is fun, and the 2016 updates we're checking out, and it's good. Good game.
Yeah, good game. GG.
This week, we bring you a battle.
Bum, bum, bum.
A battle with better music.
Bum, bum, bum.
Anyhow. So the boy and I were literally just having a conversation about what the fuck we could podcast about. Because I was dumb last week and used up our podcast idea in the middle of the podcast. Because I'm dumb. The little peel back the curtain for some Two Nerds there for you. And we got into a discussion about MMOs. And how a boy said, you said you were probably not ever going to go back to Warcraft.
Like, I might, is like, hey, yeah, this is fun. I remember back when this was a thing. Well, I'm done now. But it just, I don't think I'm ever going to recapture the magic. It was very much a specific part of my life, like in a specific time frame. Mm-hmm. And now I just can't justify paying money for an MMO. Not a monthly subscription.
Which, as you mentioned, is weird because we totally have way more money now than we did back then.
Yeah, we have way more money now. Like way, way more, but it's not, I guess that's part of the reason we have more money. Is because...
Because we're not paying for WoW like dummies?
Well, it's because we stopped being able to, well, at least I stopped being able to justify spending my money on stupid bullshit.
Nah, you really didn't. Well, that's conversation away from the podcast anyway. But, I was like, so what MMO were you going to play? And your response?
Yeah, Marvel Heroes is fine. Marvel Heroes is perfectly serviceable MMO.
Which I took umbrage with.
I don't know why it's an MMO.
Well, yeah, but it's not the same thing as WoW.
Well, no MMO. Well, hopefully no other MMO is the same thing as WoW. If it was just the same thing as WoW, I would just play WoW.
I mean, you poor sweet summer child.
No, I know a bunch of them are. You'll notice I don't fucking play those.
Yeah, no,
If I wanted to play the same thing as WoW, I would just play WoW.
Well, but there's a certain, for me, Marvel Heroes does not satisfy any of the WoW itch. Zero.
That's weird. Because it's a massively multiplayer online RPG.
Well, and you know what? And that's a fair assessment, the boy. But pray tell, how many other people have we purposefully played with in Marvel Heroes ever?
One. And also, I had fun teleport racing a Deadpool through a hub once.
Sure.
And Deadpool's cooldown for his teleport is very slightly quicker than the Vision, so he won.
I'm sorry, buddy. Maybe he was just a higher level than you.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, if you put more points into it.
Well, it's more that the animation, because in Vision's animation, he goes down below the ground and pops back up. Deadpool just whoop, it just does the body slide teleport.
Deadpool's just broken.
Which is important because he's supposed to be.
But as far as I go, I like doing dungeons with people, and I like making my character and your characters, as again we discussed last week.
You have the most severe case of alt-itis ever known to man, yeah.
I liked questing. In this game, I don't know that I give a shit about questing. Or the story.
I think the story will make, you recently found out, and he was telling me this earlier, there's a hard version of the story that's actually challenging in some way, after you hit 60, because the version you level up with, isn't, is not, it is tedious, if anything.
There's not enough mobs for it to be fun. You start, you get going, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck's the other gun.
There's enough mobs for you to
kill them.
And there's enough mobs to exist
There's enough mobs so that you're not just walking out an empty hallway uninhibited to reach your goal.
But in like Midtown Patrol or one of the patrols or the what are they called? Challenge maps?
The shield simulations. Yeah.
There's so many more. There's waves upon waves of enemies, and it's way more fun. And you level up with that, and that's way better. There's an actual good challenging version of the story once you hit 60. I think that might be interesting because the story seems interesting. It seems cool.
It seems alright, but like another downside is the fact that your characters, unless you happen to pick one of the core characters, aren't part of the story.
Yeah, like you're just like, now what's Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Black Widow, and
I guess I'm just slightly off screen.
Always slightly off screen. What do you want? I'm the Vision. I guess I just teleported away. The boss is dead. I left. They had a conversation.
But I mean, they feel so different for me, you know. And WoW, I like role playing. That's not
that's
really
not something
an
you do
option here. I mean, you could, but you'd be the weirdie.
Yeah, you'd be a weirdo.
Probably a fun weirdie, but still.
Like if you were doing Thor and you only spoke in character.
Yeah, or like Colossus or something. I mean, that's, it's still...
Dos Vidania comrade.
Still, buddy. Oh.
Like, it's fun. It would be fun. It'd be like, oh, remember the time we played with that guy who, like, said things in characters Colossus? And, like, you'd be a fun anecdote for some people. But then there'd be the people you play with regularly.
Yeah, who are tired of your shit.
Just, dude, fucking, Bill, stop, okay?
Like back out when I used to play Fiora, I would always become super bad French the entire week she was free.
And like, first day she's free, everyone's laughing, it's great. Last day she's free, they've seen that bit about 40 bajillion times, and they're fucking done with it, okay?
Yeah, it's not really an option. It's also, like, the way encounters go is different. I mean, there's a lot of the same mechanics and terminology, but I don't know. It just
doesn't scratch the itch for you.
Yeah. I love this game. I love it a lot, actually. And given its longevity,
you liked it more than me, to be honest.
Nah, you're scared to like it. You're afraid to love again. I don't blame you, man. I've played so many MMORPGs. And we were just literally talking about this morning. It looks like WildStar might be moseying toward the retirement home.
It might be heading towards the Old Yeller portion of the MMO experience.
And I didn't notice it until I was reading some tweets, and I honestly forgot who tweeted them. I'm sorry, listener, if it was you. They were talking about how it was, shitty of them to be laying off so many employees and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, really? And then I realized that they have not had anywhere near the strength of social media presence they had before. Like, there was this huge upturn when they went free to play. Like,
which is what you would expect.
To the point that I didn't even enjoy playing them because there were just too many fucking people. Like, because they only have one server. Well, like 4, but
one, like, merged unit server for each region.
Yeah, and it's just like, fucking...
There's like a billion motherfuckers here.
I just want to click the shop guy.
And they made that fucking undulating knot of douchebags around the shop guy.
Not even that. It's just like, there's so much shit going on. And that disappoints me. I mean, first of all, yeah, because I spent money on it. It's always disappointing to see something you spent money on, go to shit. But to be fair, the amount of money I spent on it, I probably got about that much fun out of it. I'm not upset. Like, that much. Compared to, say, Elder Scrolls Online. But I am upset because there were some really good mechanics in that game. Some really great ideas.
I played it very briefly and just, like, oh, this is WoW with more dodging.
Well, and that's, like, the activity, the ability to do stuff in combat other than just...
Click rotation, click your rotation.
I mean, and honestly, combat is the worst part of WoW for me. And I mean that in a good way, because I mean the combat's fun and your rotation's good, it's enjoyable. But compared to everything else, it's the most boring thing to run through.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, this brings me back to something I forgot to mention earlier. When we were talking earlier today, I mentioned it. One of the reasons I'll probably never go back to WoW is they keep doing things specifically designed to make me not want to play their new expansions. Like, a good example. Flying mounts are the coolest. They're the coolest. They're the most fun. I like flapping around and looking down at all the fun scenery and like just getting to where I need to go without having to worry about fucking pulling in 27,000 mobs who demount me and then I have to fight them all and waste my time. I like the feeling of flying around. I like being able to just like, well, I'm done here. Away! It's very fun. And they're very cool, and I ride around on a big fucking dragon, and I feel really cool. Here's the thing, though. In every new expansion now, I think, honestly, it started with Miss, which is the last one I was in the beta for, and then that's when we stopped playing WoW.
It started in Cat.
Yeah, not every zone, though.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it started in...
Not every zone, though. It's like Vashj'ir, the underwater one? No. But I'm pretty sure you could fly in, like, I think it was Alderman, or I just bought the flying license.
I mean, you might have. You were fucking rich.
Well, yeah.
You might have just gone, whatever, bought.
I was high level in jewel crafting, alchemy, and blacksmithing. I had money. I had fake internet.
Shit, I didn't even have the regular flying mount until later that expansion.
But, like, and I would have loaned you some dollars. You just didn't have anyone high enough level, I don't think.
I have pride.
Alright. But...
Please, sir, spare about several thousand gold so that I might lift mine ass up off the ground and look fancy.
Of course, peasant, here you are. But
it's an important part of the game for you because it skips a lot of tedium. It
skips tedium, and more importantly, I really enjoy it. I like flying around on mounts. I used to just do the equivalent of, like, because this was before I really started listening to podcasts, but do the equivalent of fucking fly around mining. I would literally just fly in giant circles mining, because I was a miner on the main tune. A miner and a jewel crafter. And I would just fly around mining. And that's it. That's what I would do. I would fly around in a big circle, mining, and doing the equivalent of listening to podcasts, watching a show, what have you. I really found it relaxing and enjoyable.
Sure.
Kind of like some people play European Truck Simulator, the same way. It's just a very...
Is that what that's for?
That's basically what people use it for.
Just like ASMR, the video game?
It's basicly you fucking...
You turn it on, there's weird, wet, drippy noises?
No. You turn it on, and you really want to fucking finish that AMSR. Bro, wow, mouth just won't finish. Mouth will not complete ASMR for some reason. But it's just something to relax and do while you're doing other stuff. Yeah. It's a relaxing, wind down activity. I used to do that a lot. I can't do that in the new zones. Not just like it's expensive, just whatever. I could be rich again now if I wanted. It's that it's not doable. They don't let you. They don't let you buy flying mounts until like
about 3 or 4 months into the expansion cycle.
Fuck you. And even then, I had some money, but they're prohibitively expensive.
Well, I mean, there's reasons for that, but I totally get where you're coming from.
The reasons for that are them throwing a Cartman-like tantrum.
No, I'm sure that's a part of it, but there's the fact that, like, the game, like, that you paid for ends up being so much quicker if you can just really fast walk with no obstructions from point to point.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Well, and you pay a lot of money to purchase that. Most of their customer base would not be happy because...
Yeah, actually, this is I noticed. Most of their people are like, oh, thank you, Al, for not selling flying expansions, for not selling flying licenses, for not letting you fly. You gotta walk through the whole zone.
Well, I mean...
Bitch, if you want to walk, you can.
That's... Okay.
No one's stopping you. Nobody gonna stop your shine. Why you gotta stop mine?
So... because of shit in the 90s. There are other people who can say this better than I did. I think I'm borrowing from Satchel Drake's. Because of the economy in the 90s and the way most kids were with video games, we equate hours worth of playtime to monetary.
It's your value
enjoyment.
proposition.
Yeah.
It's this game is X number of hours. That means it is worth X number of dollars.
Right.
That's not how I think.
No, it's not. I'm telling you how most of the other people think so that you can understand where they're coming from. It's why movies are all longer now. All movies. It used to be
Unless
a movie,
they're really shitty.
Yeah, or unless they're like really low budget or just cranking this shit out because we can and because you'll see it. Not you necessarily, but teenagers.
I mean, me. I have terrible taste in movies. If that wasn't clear,
Well, that's true. We've paid for Jason Momoa's salary, so we will get the boys' dollars.
Look, I bought Road to Paloma. That's all. Okay. It's a good movie. Fuck you. Wow.
We told Max Landis he could make a movie, so the boys already got 9 tickets pre-reserved.
Oh.
Anyway. But, yeah, movies used to be like 90 minutes, sometimes less, and now most of your films are at least 2 hours. And in the same way, if you release an expansion and the reviewers, first and foremost, are going, oh, it was dumb, I sped through it in like 2 hours, whatever.
First off, you can't. If you're a person who's not a professional reviewer, like we're not, because we have jobs.
Fuck no. And that aren't professional reviewing.
Yeah. we have like daytime jobs.
If I had a job that was professional reviewing, I would be a reviewer.
Yeah. But I meant to say day jobs.
No,
but
I
got cut off. But if you're not one of those people, you cannot take their estimation of playtime hours into account for what it's going to take you to play that game. Because one, they literally play games professionally, and they basically speed run them all the time. They get very, very good at finding out the best and the quickest way to get through any possible game. Because it's what they do. It's how they make their money. It's how they make their living. You know how you're good at your job, presumably, listener? I mean, your Ultimo Dragon, we've seen all the title belts.
Ultimo Dragon's really good at his job.
They're good at their job. So they're going to beat it a lot fucking faster than you do. Even if they're taking what they consider to be a leisurely stroll through the game, they're going to blow through it. If you've ever seen like a professional YouTuber play a game, they'll just rocket past shit that would, like, I personally would have fucking spent 5 or 10 minutes on, not because I'm dumber, but just because I, like...
You're marveling at it.
Environmental stuff. And, like, I would sit and read all the codex entries and do all the shit and look at all the stuff. And these YouTubers just, bow, right past them. There and gone. In as quick as possible. And I get it, that's what they're good at. It's their job to do that. But that means that you can't really take account of their playtime, of how long they play a game, for how long it's going to take you to play the game.
Sure.
It's better to take into account the people who design the game. And I know that sounds dumb, like why would you trust the manufacturer over someone who's offering presumably objective critique? The problem is that that's what they design the game for, and unless they're just straight up lying to you, and if they're just straight up lying to you, it's going to be way more obvious than just the length of playtime. They're good at judging about how long that is. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. Well,
and honestly, as you said earlier, you really shouldn't be necessarily categorizing quality of game as many hours sunk into.
I understand. I understand to a certain extent.
Sure. There are extremes. Like, if I plunk down $30 for a game and it's 2 hours, I'm upset.
Yeah, basically.
Like, Gone Home. Gone Home was an incredible, fun, interesting experience that I bought on sale for $2. If I had paid $15, $20, whatever the asking price usually is, I would have been upset. Because that was not a lot of gameplay. An interesting story, but not $20 worth of a story.
Right, because I can go see the best movies of all time for like $2. At the video store or on iTunes or whatever.
Right.
If it's just an interesting story, there are better stories than you're going to tell me, way cheaper. There is a certain minimum threshold. I can understand a certain minimum threshold of, this is my minimum for this asking price. I get that. It's when you start taking that minimum and then extrapolating out to its logical conclusion, because that becomes illogical.
Sure.
Just because, alright, this is a $60, first in title on a console or PC, I'm going to want at least 30 hours of gameplay out of that. at least. That's your minimum line. That's fine. Okay? That's a perfectly healthy way to look at it. You should not then take that point and go, well, if it has 300 hours, obviously that means it's better.
Right. Nor, as we just said, should you take that point, blow through it as fast as possible and go, what's that, 29.5? Unacceptable! First of all, unacceptable, not a word. Secondly,
you could go inexcusable, unacceptable. I think that's probably what you were going for is the line between those.
I was just being dumb. But, it's also about the quality of good times one has.
The quality of the experience.
Sure. There are, I can't think of a game off the top of my head, but, well, and I'll use you as an example. Fuck it. Because I know both of these apply to you. In Skyrim, I have literally watched you, for hours at a time, use telekinesis to toss shit up into the air and catch it. I am not exaggerating.
He's not.
To be fair, a good 60% of this was while he was grinding the related spell ability. But there was 40% that was just you playing catch with yourself in a video game. And that's fun.
It was really fun.
I don't judge you for it.
I judge you for it a little.
I will make fun of you for it, but I will not judge you for it because you know what? You're happy. Let him be. He's not hurting anybody.
Exactly. I ain't gonna stop your shine while you gotta stop mine, though.
But if Preston Garvey so much breathes intensely in your direction, you are filled with a rage that is only equally responded by an additional nuclear war.
Another settlement's in trouble. Shut the fuck up, Preston. I swear to fuck.
Hey, you sleeping? Hey, you sleeping, dog? Hey. Oh, fuck, what? Hey, another settlement's in trouble. Did I wake you?
So right now, actually, to combat this, what I'm doing is I'm actually adventuring with Preston. Because he's not a nuisance if he's the guy I'm adventuring with. He's my adventure buddy. And he's like, so I'm like, murdered all these dudes, sold all their shit, dropped it in the river if I didn't want to take it home. What's next, buddy? Let's go here and shoot these people. Yeah! And then we go and shoot people.
It's turning a negative into a positive. I like that.
And also, I'm grinding up reputation with him because the quickest way to grind reputation to him is literally just do those quests when he's there.
Yep.
And then once I have him maxed and I get his companion ability, the little perk that you get, which I'm pretty sure are like persistent even if they're not around.
No, they have to be.
Lame. But once I have that, I'm gonna try it out, see if it's worth keeping around, and if not, he gets to go to fucking Warwick Homestead on the ass end of nowhere, and that's where he gets to stay.
After the first time I failed one of those missions because I didn't know they were timed, I sent his ass to the keep.
Oh, no, he doesn't get to live in the keep. I have stuff there, too, that I like. You get to go to, that one that's on the very south edge of the map.
Yeah, no, Yeah.
You get to go to the ass end of Egypt. You're getting relocated to Topeka, Kansas, asshole, okay?
So, yeah, you can't really... Can you really take into account the hours of enjoyment the boy has gotten from playing telekinetic foosball with himself?
No, foosball's way more.
Yeah, you're right.
I was just playing catch.
Playing catch with yourself. It's racquetball without a wall.
Super fun. It required timing and and just enough of a modicum of skill that I enjoyed myself and felt like, yeah, I'm doing a thing.
Well, and fuck, I mean, okay, here's an example for me. If you take WWE 2K games, and you look through the time it takes you to play the story mode. Fucking both of them. Both the wrestler career and the Stone Cold mode. We got, maybe 20, 30 hours? Maybe 40 if you stretch it out?
If you suck.
Okay. I have played that game for way more than that, and I've barely played the wrestler mode. I just make dudes.
He doesn't even play the actual wrestling game. He just sits and makes creator wrestlers, and then, looks at them, and then makes their entrance, and then gives them moves, and then he, starts a match to watch all their entrances, and then he just quits.
I've been doing that to set up for some shit lately, actually. But
no, you did it before this. You would go, I just want to see some entrances. Press.
Yeah, I just want to see how they're doing. I want to see they're alright. But, I was getting guys out, I wanted to fill up a roster so that we could do the season.
Yeah.
Now last night, as I defend myself, so too shall I stab myself. Last night I did make a guy, and I go, yeah, I made a guy. And I shit you not, I will probably just end up deleting him.
Just cause
I realized he was a different ethnicity version of a character I already have. And I mean, it's just not, I don't need two of them. And the other guy's been here longer, sorry. There was like 3-4 hours. That was most of what I did with my night. And I will just turn around and be like, well, that was fun, delete.
I make role-playing game characters.
Yeah.
It's just complete departure. But I just make them. They take 2-3 hours to do. And I just make them. And then I look at them and go, never gonna get to play you anywhere. In the bin you go.
But, so the point we were getting to is it's really, really hard to judge time played. However, the bulk of people still are going to look at hours of playtime equals worth of money. And if the hours of playtime are not up to what your reviewer of choice says is snuff, then, well, I am going to write a very angry post on MMO Champion.
It's just, if you want to take the slow route and get on your turtle mount that goes the same speed you do and meander through the fucking zone, I'm not gonna stop you.
Which, I mean, but that's us. And I think we come from a place of, like, being able to regulate that. Because you and I both replayed Skyrim a couple times where...
just increasing the difficulty, not just through, here, make the enemies have more health, make me have less health. Because that's, like, the least fun way to increase difficulty.
It is. But we wouldn't craft anything. And, we did hardcore role-playing.
We wouldn't fast travel.
Yeah, we had to eat food every day, and when we got into towns, we'd just walk real slow, just to immerse ourselves. There was time, literally in WoW, after, I can't remember his fucking name now. Guy, he's bad.
The Lich King?
No, the Orc.
No, not Grom. No, you did it to me.
Garrosh Hellscream. After he became... leader of the Horde. Boy and I both got on our Tauren because he killed Cairn, or the other guy.
Yeah, he killed one of the Tauren leaders. Yeah.
So we went into his little chamber in Orgrimmar.
And in character.
/ spit in his face. And then fucking walked to,
I had a flying mount. I could turn into a big cool druid eagle. But no, we fucking walked from Orgrimmar to Thunder Bluff purely for the role, just because that's what the characters would do. This is the kind of lame bullshit that we do because we are willing to take the tools given to us by the game and make an experience out of it.
Now, that being said, this is why we haven't played any of the newest, hottest games, because we are way too busy playing other games real slow. Again, with bullshit rules on top of that.
Right? You do fucking Nuzlocke and Pokemon, and I have Steam, I have a new computer that can run Skyrim at max settings and beyond, and I have Skyrim in my Steam, and all the expansions. There's everything in me not to literally, every night I go, should I just download Skyrim and 20 mods and just play Skyrim again? And I keep having to justify not doing it because, no, I'm just going to fall into a Skyrim hole for the next 8 months, and I have shit I want to do.
I will say another thing about the difference between MMOs, which is the topic of, this podcast, before we close out here. And that is, Marvel Heroes is fun, and I like playing it with friends. But I really don't have to. I thought I did. I thought that was part of what was keeping me away before. No, it just turns out I had a bad character. I don't think Black Panther was ever as good as I was telling myself he was. Because I didn't have a frame of reference. Like,
then you played other characters and went,
I was like,
these are all way better.
What the shit, this is amazing. But just sitting around hitting fucking volley with Hawkeye has been a fantastic experience.
One of the only characters I have unlocked. I play specifically like as a duo with White, partially as like a stopgap measure to protect myself, because that game's just fucking fun.
It's just fun.
I can just go fill up my inventory with loot, empty the inventory of loot, do it again for a long time.
But like when I was playing WoW and I didn't have anybody to play with, I mean, I got really far with a new character and everything, and then I was like, no. No one's here to enjoy all my emotes.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big thing. Yeah.
Well,
this is good. This is a good way to close out the show. Just awkward.
Just awkward.
Like when you're not at a party, but like when you've gone over to a friend's house and it's time for you to get going. No, actually, better yet, when a friend's over at your house and you're trying to imply to them that it's time for them to get going. You're like,
no, not even you're trying to imply. Just it's time for them to get going, and like a conversation ends and you go, yeah. And then they don't go.
And then you, well, I got some stuff I needed to do, so...
And they just won't leave. And you're just gonna linger there forever, unless you kick them out, and that's gonna be super awkward. And all you want them to do is to get up and just wave and say, everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Do people say that when they leave your presence?
You always leave right after the podcast is over.
I only exist in the confines of this podcast.
Oh no!
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!